All right. Well, thank you much. And I'll go back to being an MC. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Tim Boring. Tim is State Director of the USDA Farm Service Agency. I think we're all familiar, at least one or two programs at the FSA office. Maybe we're familiar with them, and it's another thing to understand them. But you can imagine the job that Tim must have to, I don't even know how many programs you have, Tim.
I don't know either. I'm still learning about this stuff.
I don't know how many, you probably got a program from asparagus and wool and everything else. But anyway, Tim was past president and founded and served as president of the Michigan Advancement Committee and Michigan Agriculture Advancement, excuse me. There you go. And Tim also farms in Stockbridge, so it's my pleasure to introduce Tim.
Thanks, Dave. So I know everyone's really excited to have a guy from the government up here directly between you and lunch. So I'll be brief here. Really, I just want to take the opportunity here to introduce myself. Let us know what we're doing. Well, it'll be a short conversation some days of what we're doing well at FSA and all the areas in which we can improve. I've been in the job since October, so it's still kind of a learning experience for me. I was on a panel with NRCS and RD, Rural Development, up at Farm Bureau's Outlook's seminar here maybe 2 weeks ago. And Brandon, the guy, we're both political appointees from Rural Development. We started on the same day, and Diane Gray with NRCS was there, and she said, I've been with NRCS 37 years. And Brandon says, I've been with RD 4 months. And I thought that I'm not to the point of counting this in months. I still feel this is weeks. So I think we're on like week 16 or something like this. So you could joke about all the programs that we have, Dave. I'm still learning a lot of this sort of stuff. I'm used to FSA from the farmer side of the counter on this sort of on all the details and these sorts of stuff. But wow, it gets complex when you dive into the depths of all the programs and things. So as Dave mentioned, I was working and started this Michigan Ag Advancement here in 2020, and largely working on issues that I, as a farmer and somebody who's kind of invested here in Michigan Ag, cared about. I wanted to work on economic issues that better favor for farmers. I want stronger rural communities. I think better incorporating environmental aspects into some of these decision-making things is really important. So running my own org, that was great because I could actually spend time working on these issues in the ways that I wanted to work on them. But I got the call shortly after the election about having conversations about this job. I'll tell you, the idea of going from working for yourself to working for the rigid federal government was not the most easy discussion. But it became an opportunity, I think, to continue working on issues I care about. And really, that's why I'm here in the job. The idea of going to Lansing on a semi-regular basis and sitting in an office is not really the end game here. But I'm here because I want to be able to advance some of these issues. And I see that some of the stuff that's coming out of the administration is in line with that. If you pay attention to administration priorities of what USDA talks about, there's an awful lot of discussion about building stronger and more competitive markets and addressing a lot of climate-smart agricultural practices. And as far as I'm concerned, you can substitute the climate-smart discussion with soil health. And I think in so many ways that have already been talked about here in the last hour, that I think that wheat's got such a strong role to play in both of those discussion points. And so really I'm glad to be here talking to all of you today because we need a strong, vibrant wheat industry here in Michigan to better position our entire ag economy. Wheat's got such an important place to play in the development of markets, of how mills and handlers impact rural economies, and makes for so much of a stronger ag system for us here in Michigan. But from a farm perspective too, right? I'm applying less fertilizer and my yields are higher and more stable when I've got wheat in the rotation. So I think it becomes contingent then too to think about and purposefully acknowledge of how wheat and small grains are going to play into that soil health discussion and their larger impact on environmental outcomes and really how we build up stronger systems. So there's implications here on crop insurance, there's implications on water quality, just the stability of our ag systems. So it's contingent then on us, I think in the federal government and USDA FSA specifically here, to be working on issues that make it easier to grow wheat and more profitable to grow wheat, right? Because I know from a farmer perspective, it's not always the easiest thing to pencil out keeping wheat in the rotation when you're only looking at dollars and cents in a very limited time frame. So I think we're doing that in some small ways. You're going to see, hopefully here in the short term, the reporting date for wheat get shifted back to December 15th instead of November 15th for next year. It's a small thing, but I think it makes it a little bit easier to be working with FSA in the fall when it seems like we're increasingly still in the combine in November. I think there's some initiatives coming out of the administration, such as the Climate Smart Commodities Program that are going to be supportive of wheat, that are going to help us. I mean, it's what Dennis talked about, is spending so much time here quantifying the impact of wheat in the rotation and the value there. It's another pot of money that's going to be helpful, I think, in doing those sorts of things. So it's really all I've got. I'm happy to take questions and perhaps talk to all of you kind of one-on-one here as we go through lunch. I'll shamelessly plug FSA programs a little bit here of the fact of get in and sign up for our PLC. Even though those programs are probably not likely to pay out in any meaningful way this year, if we're going to be running some ad hoc programs into the next year, it's a whole lot easier to be in the system now rather than worrying about trying to get caught up with it at that point. We have the Pandemic Cover Crop Assistance Program. Reporting dates on that is coming up for too long. I mean, $5 an acre doesn't necessarily mean that the difference between black and red returns on my farm for profitability, but it's $5 when we didn't otherwise have it. So I think there are some positive moves here of things going on in the administration and what we're looking to do here at FSA. So with that, I don't know if there's any general questions here, or I can certainly get out of the way here and let everybody enjoy their lunch.
In addition to what he just said, Ark County is overwhelmingly the program you should probably be enrolling in if you're in the Saginaw Bay region. So,
how long till you get a state committee appointed?
I have learned to modify what I thought of the definition of the word soon over the last few months. Soon, I'm hopeful that it's a matter of days or weeks, not months. We've got a few names that are up at USDA right now, and frankly, I would have expected that we already had a committee named by now. But soon is my technical government answer.
historically speaking, do you know if the acreage for planted wheat's been going like up, down,
Was trending down, like long-term over time, right? I mean, others here, I'm sure, could tell you far more consistently.
Is it down this year because of the weather?
Oh, this year. I'm sorry. I missed it. So this year
Yes.
specifically, yeah.
Yes, but at the same time, I mean, you pencil some of this sort of stuff out, it becomes a little bit harder to plant wheat some years, right? Yes, the weather, I think, absolutely has a factor in that, but I think it's part of a broader shift as well. And quite frankly, right, this frustrates me a little bit of the number one reason I hear guys don't want to grow wheat is the fact they want to go to the lake in the summer. But really, honestly, like we're building farms increasingly today to mitigate risk and make management easier. We are consolidating in every single way, right? And as it's harder and harder to get labor, you need guys behind steering wheels that can just keep the tractor straight, and perhaps you can't ask too much of them. I think we need to look at how we're structuring all this sort of stuff as it comes together, and not necessarily let it come down to the fact that we're letting recreational aspects here have such a meaningful impact on what our cropping systems look like. Yeah.
Think that autonomous equipment would fit wheat better than would some of the row crops, that type of thing for harvesting.
Yeah, I think I am looking forward to the day when I've got little tractors out there planting all my crops for me and I don't need to be riding in the tractors. I like doing it. My time could probably be spent better. Yeah, I absolutely think autonomous equipment's going to have a fit for for wheat production here in Michigan. Perhaps not in my fields up against a tree line everywhere, right? And you lose signal, but well, thanks everybody. I'll be here through lunch, so if you've got specific questions or challenges within your county FSA office, be sure to let me know too. It's part of the job sometimes is hearing the problems and trying to figure out what we can do about them. So, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Tim, and you did a great job, especially being the speaker before lunch.